Alrighty, so the first two game of this year rivalry week is in the books, and I also forgot to mention the fact that Heineken actually doesn't sponsor MLS rivalry week anymore. That is something that's been kind of around for the past couple of years, but I guess this year they're not sponsored. That sponsorship kind of come to an end, but still, I'm gonna reference that because it's always known as Heineken rivalry week when we always see the best rivalry and the best derby happening in a match week. But with that being said, let us jump straight into it because we do have the Hell Israel Derby that's going to be starting a little bit earlier than those 7:30 p.m. Eastern start that we usually see. And we start off with the Canadian Classique between Montreal and Toronto. And this was definitely a Canadian Classique. Remember, if you are a fan of Toronto FC and one that you would definitely do not want to remember and want to throw it away as quick as possible if you're a Montreal fans. I mean, yeah, this was ugly. And what's kind of interesting about this one is that Montreal was actually the better team, at least for the first 15 minutes of this game. Yes, Toronto did score the opening goal first, but it was really kind of against the run of play. But then the red card happened. And the red card absolutely changed this game for the worse for Montreal and for the better for Toronto FC. Now, early on, it looked like Montreal took the lead just 7 minutes in as Veroni puts it into the back of the net. Problem was, the flag did not agree with him, so the goal was disallowed for offside. And as I said, Montreal was the better team. At least early on, they were on the front foot with the possession and dictate the play. Pierce would heads it right to Johnson in the 13th minute, but then in the 14th minute, on the first shot of the game for TFC, and really just completely against the run of play, Toronto scores the opener as Spicer. He scored from Bryn Hinson to make it 1-0 in favor of TFC, and then the red card happened in the 21st minute as Joel Waterman commit a denial of goal score opportunity moment there. So Montreal was down to 10 men, and Toronto, of course, has the man advantage, and boy, did they took that advantage in a good way. In the 23rd minute, Benedeski would puts it wide on the free kick. This was actually the ensuing free kick, and Apple TV almost had a Fox Sports moment here. They were busy showing the face of Insigne instead of showing the free kick, so yeah, that was definitely not great. And I gotta say, the Apple TV production for this game, they absolutely dropped the ball in this one. And as we'll see later in this game, they actually did commit a Fox Sports moment here as well. But in the 25th minute, Etienne Jr. would puts it wide from long range. The momentum was all with the visitor as they pushed for a second goal. Sealy would then puts one right to Johnson before Breza denied Bernadeschi, but he did allow a rebound and was very fortunate to not be punished. But he was not so fortunate in the 30th minute because Bernadeschi, he scored from Flores to make it 2-0 in favor of TFC. Easily one of the best games that Federico Bernadeschi have played for TFC in a really long time. And also just it also came off a bad giveaway for Montreal in the midfield. There was a lot of bad defending for Montreal, and we saw it in their midweek game as well, where they committing some bad turnover that could have been costly against Columbus. And fortunate for the most part, it wasn't. And then just 2 minutes later, it would be 3-0 in favor of TFC as Bryn Hinson finally scored his first career MLS goal. I mean, he's been waiting for this moment, and he finally scores here from Dominguez to make it 3-0 in favor of TFC. And the route is definitely on, not only in terms of the weather, but also on the pitch. It started to rain really hard in this game, and that kind of sums up Montreal day in this one. I mean, as the old saying goes, when it rains, it pours. But at this point, it feels like Montreal seems to wave the white flag. They bring some reserve defense in place for those attacking players. It did not work out whatsoever in this one. But what did almost work out is Montreal almost got a goal back as the post would deny Sealy after he went beast mode there, and then it denied Saliba in the 38th minute and redirect off of Leteri, who really knew nothing about it, and goes wide. And again, that moment kind of sums up Montreal so far in this game. They were just having no luck whatsoever in this game. And I also thought that was kind of a warning shot for TFC because, yes, Toronto, I know that this is a dreamland for them to be up 3-0 against their biggest rival. But last thing you want is to give Montreal a goal back and maybe some belief that they can come back into this one. Speaking of the post, it then denied Insigne in the near post. Yeah, the post was definitely a factor at least at this point. Three straight shots that hits the post. You usually do not see that happen before. In fact, I think that's probably the first time in a long time I've seen three straight shot that actually ends up on the post. But Insigne would then puts it into the stands in the 5th minute of stoppage time. The boos were ringing out loudly at halftime at Saputo, and I don't blame the fans getting very upset about this resort. And by the way, the attendance in this game, yeah, it was not good whatsoever. And I understand, this Canadian Classic between two bottom feeder team is not going to draw the crowd, and especially both of these fan base. If there's one thing they can agree is that they really hate their front office and their own ownership group right now, and there are some fans that have just simply boycotted these games, even if it's the biggest game of the season for both of these teams. But for those that did attend it, they definitely show their feelings. At least in the Montreal perspective, yeah, they were not happy in terms of the this resort, as their team is down 3-0 heading into the second half, and it gets worse for them because in the 53rd minute, after Laturi hits it right to Johnson, Toronto would make it 4-0, as Benedeski would score from Insigne to make it 4-0 in favor of TFC. Montreal fans was basically heading to the exit, and they showed a couple of that. I feel like that just adds salt to the wound. Seeing that, I mean, there was really no need. They needed to focus that so much. But anyway, Insigne would puts it over in the 62nd minute. Before in the 64th minute, Montreal fans finally got something to cheer about, as Baroni would score from Petrasso to make it 4-1 in favor of TFC. But then 2 minutes after some positivity, it's back to negativity for Montreal fans to deal with, as Corbino would score to make it 5-1 in this game, and it came off another bad turnover for Montreal in the midfield. Yeah, that Montreal defense pretty much non-existent in this one, whether it's the starting defense or the reserve defense. They did not show up whatsoever. And big part of that is because they were down a man for most of this game. Longstaff then puts one into the stands. By the way, this is not to a point where I kind of didn't really pay too much attention to this game because it was just so lopsided up to this point. Varuni would then hits it right to Johnson, and then in the first minute of stoppage time, TFC would make it 6-1, as Corbino would score his second goal of the game from Benedeski to make it 6-1 in favor of TFC. And I wasn't the only one that wasn't really paying too much attention in this game, because apparently the Apple TV production crew, again, they really dropped the ball in this one, because they already had one moment where they messed up by almost not able to broadcast a goal live on the free kick opportunity early in the game, and this time they decided to not even broadcast this game live. They were too busy showing the board being held up for stoppage time rather than showing this. I mean, I get it. Yes, you need to kind of show how many minutes of stoppage there is, but don't do it when there's an attacking sequence of play. So yeah, just a Fox Sports moment, and that is, and that I mean, the thing is that it is the sixth goal. It didn't really matter at the end, but for some fans, it's a little bit. They're probably a little ticked off in terms of the fact that, wow, really the amount of money we pay to watch these games on Apple TV, and they still don't even show the go live. I mean, yeah, that's gonna take some people off. But nevertheless, it was 6-1 up to this point. Benedeski trying to make it Brazil versus Germany, but he hits it right to Breza. Yeah, Berdineski really won his hat trick in this one. He didn't get it, but what TFC did get is an absolute rout. It's also a record-breaking one as well, as this is the most goal that TFC have scored against Montreal at Stade Saputo in a league game. They did score 6 goals against Montreal once at Stade Saputo, but this was in the Canadian Championship game a couple of years back. But yeah, the shots in this one: 20 shots for the 11 that Montreal has, 5 shots on goal for the 8 that TFC had, 7 shots off target for the 1 that Montreal has, 3 shots that was blocked for the 4 that TFC had, and possession-wise, 55% possession compared to 45% possession that Montreal has in this game. And now, after this big win that Toronto has, let's see if that can really propel their season. I mean, we kind of said a little bit of that last season when they won 5-1 against Montreal at BMO feel, but it didn't really quite work out for them. So we'll see whether if it's a little bit different. But for Montreal, so much for all my talking about how in the last couple of games they play a little bit better, even if the result is not showing. Because yikes, this was an apps. This is kind of a game that you will definitely need to have a good response heading into the next one before it spiral out of control. Because right now, I mean, these two teams, I know they're not going to make the playoffs this season unless there's an incredible turnaround. But still, to lose your rival like that, to just get embarrassed in front of your home pitch, I would not be surprised if the attendance can get even worse at Stade Saputo. And I also wouldn't be surprised there might be a similar kind of situation where TFC fans have shown some displeasure and put up banner of the front office, because yeah, it's bad right now for Montreal. This is the ultimate embarrassment that they have this season against your biggest rival at home. Now, moving on in terms of the next match is the New York Derby between NYCFC and the New York Red Bulls. So NYCFC gets some revenge in this New York Derby with a 2-0 win, and for the most part, they were kind of the better team in this one, as the Red Bulls kind of didn't really show up in this game. Now, in the first half, NYCFC had most of the possession early. Martinez with the game's first shot, but he missed wide. But in the 13th minute, he would be on target, and what a goal this was from Alonso Martinez. We know that he can hit those from long range, and he does that here from Hack to make it 1-0 in favor of NYCFC. An absolute banger to draw first blood in the New York Derby. And then Martinez was in on goal again, but this time he was robbed by Cornell, and there was no doubt that the momentum was with NYCFC. They were pressing hard to get that second goal. Choupo-Moting then puts it wide, as that was the game's first shot for the Red Bulls, and after not starting on time in this derby, the Red Bulls started to kind of creep into this game. Forsberg would then had a shot that was deflected and goes wide before Martinez also did the same thing just a couple of minutes later. Wolf would then had a shot that was blocked off the line. NYCFC was definitely pressing for another as the half goes along, but we do head to halftime with NYCFC leading 1-0, and for the most part, we're the better team. In the second half, Younger would hits it right to freeze, and the Red Bulls actually started the second half relatively well, at least for the first 5 minutes, but this goal absolutely killed their momentum because Maxi Morales would make it 2-0 in favor of NYCFC from Martinez, and really just an absolute gift there. And Cornell, we talk about this season how inconsistent he's been, and he's been inconsistent these last couple of years. He has had some great games, especially that playoff run, that MLS Cup run that the Red Bulls had, where he was definitely instrumental. But this season, and really last season as well, he's just been inconsistent. For every great moment that Cornell has, there's always these kind of moment where he basically scuffed the clearance, and here comes Martinez, basically took the away. And credit to Maxi Morales as well. This is a goal that kind of shows the veteran present that he is. Just pretty much took his time to hit it into the empty net, and just like that, it's a 2-0 lead for NYCFC, and I feel like, yep, this game is over because there's no way really the Red Bulls are going to come back in this game, right? I mean, I know NYCFC has their tendency to make it made it a little bit interesting, but I mean that's just a kick in the going for the Red Bulls, just as they thought that they get things going. That happened. Fernandez then looked for a third, but he puts this one high. NYCFC continued to dominate the possession, while the Red Bulls was really just kind of chasing shadow up to this point. Bogush then hits it wide from close before Harper hits the side netting, and the Red Bulls again started to show some life again with the possession, but maybe that's due to the fact that NYCFC maybe put the foot off the gas a little bit too early. Carmona would puts it wide from long range. The shots were 11-10 for NYCFC to this point, 4-1 on goal. For NYCFC as well. So despite the Red Bulls were putting the shots, only one of them was on target. They weren't really testing Freeze a lot in this one. And really, as the time winds down, not only the fact that NYCFC has started to shut up shop, I probably should have said that they pretty much shut up shop ever since they scored that second goal and hold on to the 2-goal lead. The Red Bulls, again, they desperately trying to set up a grandstand finish, just really aren't able to create any chances. And then Martinez had a chance to put the exclamation mark from long range, but he struck the post there in the 4th minute of stoppage time, which kind of sums up his season. I mean, I know he did get the goal in the 13th minute, but Alonso Martinez is one of the most unluckiest number 9 so far this season. He has way underperformed his expectancy goal. Probably right now, I think they mentioned he is the guy that currently is at the top in terms of the most underperformed of his xG so far in the league. He is a guy that can definitely create chances, but finishing those chances has been a big problem in his game so far this season. But at least he did get one, and most importantly, New York is going to be blue tonight as NYCFC gets the 2-0 win against the Red Bulls. The shots in this one, 12 shots with 11 that the Red Bulls had, 1 shots on goal with the 4 that NYCFC had, 3 shots off target with the 5 that the Red Bulls had. Both teams had 3 shots that was blocked, and possession-wise, 60% possession compared to the 40% possession that NYCFC has in this game. There you have it. That is pretty much it for the review of the first 2 games to kick off a busy action of rivalry week this week. Of course, we still have a lot of big rivalry coming up: the Hell is Real Derby, the Cascadia Derby, the Rocky Mountain Cup, and the the Texas Derby will be coming up a little bit later tonight. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys like, smash the subscribe button. And did I mention we also have the Florida Derby tomorrow and El Tráfico as well? Yeah, this is gonna be a very fun weekend, and some of these rivalry games have already been very fun to watch it as well. So I expect it might be the same thing later tonight as well. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.